What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video, and we will also preview the big Wolves Liverpool game. What is your score prediction for that game? Let me know in the comments below. And Steve K, the journalist, is reporting that Liverpool are still working behind the scenes on their number one defensive target, centre-back target, Gonzalo Inacio of Sporting Club de Portugal, who scored 2 goals in Portugal's amazing 9-0 win against Luxembourg. And this is what he told the Empire of the Cup podcast. I was told that Liverpool are still very interested in Gonzalo Inacio. According to my sources, talks have continued since deadline day over the possibility of signing him in January. I have also been told that a new centre-back is a priority for the next transfer window for Jurgen Klopp, and I've also been told that a £60 million transfer budget has been made available to bring a centre-back in. The player that's still top of the list is Inácio. I've been told that he was very close to signing for Liverpool during the last summer transfer window, but in the end he has decided to stay at Sporting to apparently get them through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. But the deal is definitely still alive. My sources told me that the real reason why Inácio signed a new contract and the new release clause, so Sporting can get more money out of Liverpool. Similar to Ryan Gravenberch, Inácio is Jurgen Klopp's number one target in that area of the pitch, so this is definitely a deal to keep an eye on. That is very exciting news. I think Liverpool were caught up with signing defensive midfielders, because that's the area that Liverpool were in desperate need of reinforcing, and in the end we went with Endo and Gravenberch as the two quite late signings in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window, and maybe we didn't have time to properly go in for a centre-back, which was not a top priority for Liverpool, because we already have Konate, Van Dijk, Matip and Gomez. But I think, judging by the 3 of those 4 players are quite injury prone, and Van Dijk is over 30 years old, Liverpool definitely need a new centre-back, especially with Matip leaving at the end of this season. Liverpool could sign Inácio and Andre in January for a combined like 60 to 70 million pounds. Inácio's new release clause is 51 million pounds. That's 60 million euros, and Andre would be available for another 20 million pounds. I think even for his release clause, Inácio is a pretty good buy, and we will talk about why. But if you enjoy these transfer news update videos, and if you are excited for the weekend and the Premier League is back, there are so many big games today and tomorrow. I'm really excited for the Premier League to be back. The international break was good, but the Premier League is where it's at, I think. Then leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new around here. And Steve K suggested that the potential signing of Inácio could be exactly what Liverpool need in a potential title challenge against Man City. He said, "Make no doubts about this. Since breaking into the first team, Inácio has become the breakout star in Portugal. He has made around 120 appearances, registering 11 goals and 8 assists from the centre-back position. He's a threat going forward in the air. He has excellent passing range. He's also left-footed, which we know is very hard to come by. Left-footed centre-backs who are great are very hard to come by, very hard to find. He has got so many great attributes. He's fantastic at driving out of defense. He's a tough tackler. For me, this is an elite defender with huge potential. I think if Jurgen Klopp can get this one over the line in January, who knows? Liverpool could be pushing for the title. They really could." Steve K added, "He has got every single attribute, I feel, to bring at Liverpool and be that successor for one of the big players, Konate or Van Dijk, for years to come. The big thing for me is the way I've been told. He is Jurgen Klopp's number one target." And what is really impressive is that Inácio is also not injury prone. He played 52 games last season, scoring 5 goals and getting I think, or 4 goals and getting 3 assists. And the season before last season, so 2 seasons ago, he played 45 games, scoring 5 goals, 3 assists as well. And he has Champions League experience. He played for Sporting in back-to-back Champions League campaigns, which is really, really impressive. And he also played for the Portugal under-21 national team in the European Championship qualifying process as well. And his ability on the ball immediately stands out when you look at his metrics, his statistics, and how he ranks among his peers. He ranks among the top 1% in progressive carries, progressive passes per game, 8.6. He's in the top 3% for progressive carries, 1.9 per 90 minutes. He ranks top 9% for pass completion rate, 89%, and he also ranks in the top 10% for successful take-ons, 0.5 per game. And he's really hard in the tackle, and he's 185 centimeters tall, just 22 years old, so he's exactly in the type of age bracket that Liverpool are looking for to replace a 32-year-old Matip with a 10-year younger centre-back who is also a left-sided centre-back, so he can play in Virgil van Dijk's position. Would be absolutely terrific. And he already has Jota, Portugal teammates in the Liverpool side, so him settling in wouldn't be a problem, really, wouldn't be an issue. He's still young enough that his peak years lie ahead of him, and also he's boasting the experience of playing 130 senior games for club and country. He already played 3 times for the Portuguese national team, scoring 2 goals in that recent competitive game against Luxembourg. Both goals came from corners, from headers, so he's a threat from set pieces. And I think with the tall centre backs we have, Matip, Van Dijk, we should be scoring a little bit more goals from the centre backs, from set pieces. We are one of the highest scoring teams from set pieces, so I don't have a problem with Liverpool's set piece goals, but the centre backs maybe could get another 2 or 3 goals per season. And remember that Sporting had a brilliant campaign in Europe last season where Inácio played pretty much every game for Sporting. They beat Tottenham at home 2-0. They won in Frankfurt 3-0, but then they lost to Marseille back-to-back, and in the end they dropped down to the Europa League by finishing 3rd in the group, where they knocked out Midfield. And then against Arsenal, who were chasing the title, Inácio scored in the home game in the 2-2 draw, and in the second leg it was a draw again. It went to penalties after 120 minutes, and Sporting won on penalties. So Sporting knocked out Arsenal with the help of Inácio's goal as well, and then they went out on against Juventus in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. But for Sporting, who are not a big club in terms of European pedigree, especially nowadays, I mean, European power rankings, Sporting are not like a top team. To reach the quarterfinals of the Europa League and to play in the Champions League, it was a really good experience for Inácio, and it was a really good campaign for Sporting as well. Inácio having 89% pass completion rate is really impressive. He also averages 2.3 clearances per game. And recently, football talent scout Jacek Kulig has labeled Inácio as a complete player, a really good footballer with a very high ceiling, very high potential. I think that in an ideal world where Liverpool had all the money in the world to spend, we could have signed Inácio at the beginning of August for 40 million euros. Because if Liverpool rated him that highly, I think 40 million euros was his release clause before he signed his contract extension in the last 2 weeks of August. I'm not sure exactly when, but I read about it during the transfer window. So if Liverpool really rated Inácio highly, I don't understand why did we not sign him when he only had a 40 million euro release clause. Of course, at that time Liverpool were very busy with the bidding for Lavia, bidding for Caicedo, and we were desperate to sign a defensive midfielder. So we were working on deals for Endo, after the Caicedo and Lavia deals fell through. And by the way, Lavia, it was confirmed, is injured again for 6 weeks after getting injured in training. So probably Liverpool dodged the bullet by not signing Lavia. But Inácio, imagine if we signed Inácio, that would have been almost like a 9 out of 10 transfer window. 10 out of 10 would be if we signed a better and younger defensive midfielder instead of Endo. But I think our midfield options are brilliant as it is. Gravenberch has very high potential. Endo is still very good player and an experienced player, and we need experienced midfielders as well as young midfielders as well. But Inácio would have been a fantastic addition to the squad, but we can rectify it in January. It would cost Liverpool a little bit more money, but I believe that this deal can be done maybe for a little bit lower than his release clause, because as soon as Inácio hears Liverpool are interested in him, he would love to play for Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, and he would say to Sporting, please let me go. So maybe Liverpool can have some leverage in that, and maybe we could sign him for 45 or 40 million pounds. That's like still 50 million euros, a little bit under his release clause, but still pretty good money for Sporting. And Inácio looks like the total package. Players like him don't play in the Portuguese league for a long time, and I think Liverpool should get this deal done, because sooner or later other top clubs, other big clubs will start sniffing around Inácio. Getting another centre-back in who could carry the ball out from the back, and also who can spray passes from the back line to the forward line would be very, very good and very important for Liverpool. Inácio also has that João Matip quality that he can dribble with the ball out of possession at the opposition, and also defensively he's very good, which is super important as a centre-back. He has 1.5 tackles per 90 minutes, almost under two interceptions, and he's left-footed, and also that he could become Virgil van Dijk's successor long-term in this Liverpool team is really, really enticing and appealing for Liverpool. Probably Van Dijk has another 2, maybe 3 years left at the top of his game, so Liverpool have to prepare eventually for his departure or him becoming a substitute player. And I mean, we already have a success story coming from the Portuguese league to the Premier League and being the success that he became. Ruben Dias, he won loads of trophies with Man City and he became one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. Carrico name-checked Ruben Dias when noting how Inácio could move to the Premier League. He's a Portuguese pundit and he said, we saw it happen with Ruben Dias at Man City. Who knows if the same thing won't happen with Inácio, a transfer for a very high transfer fee, a left-footed centre-half who is quick, good in the air, with characteristics that make him even more valuable. Inácio is a very good builder, very quick at reading the game. That's what Boto, former Benfica scout and Shakhtar sporting director, said. He's an intelligent player, he plays very well, he's ready to leave, he needs a specific team that likes to build from the back. Man City or Liverpool, for example. I think he would make a good partner for Ruben Dias. He's very comfortable on the ball. I don't know if there will be many teams who can take him because he has very specific characteristics. I think he's at a good time to make the leap. But Man City just signed Gvardiol. And yes, they sold Laporte to Saudi Arabia, but still I don't think Man City need a centre-back as much as Liverpool do need a centre-back. And yesterday evening the news broke that Trabzonspor and other Turkish clubs are interested in signing Thiago in the January transfer window. Thiago has less than 1 year on his contract. Would Liverpool be tempted to sell Thiago in the January transfer window so they can get a little bit of money for him? The rumor is that it will be a 7.5 million euro a year deal from Trabzonspor, but I'm not sure, and they will offer him a 3-year deal, but I'm not sure if they would offer any proper compensation to Liverpool. So I wouldn't sell Thiago even if they offered us like 10 million pounds in January, because I rate Thiago so highly. I think he's still one of the best midfielders in the world. The biggest problem is he's injury prone, but if Thiago can be used sparingly once a week and we can manage his workload and his body, then I can still think he can be a fantastic addition to Liverpool, because Liverpool needed a strong, fast, agile, robust, physically very capable players around Thiago. Thiago is a world-class midfielder, but he needs runners around him, and now Liverpool have got runners in the midfield. We have Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo, Gravenberch, all very hard-working, physically very strong, very robust players, runners, and Thiago could flourish in this Liverpool team. So I really hope that we keep him until the end of the season. And I will be honest, if I was Liverpool, I would offer him a 1-year contract extension if he can play around 30-35 games this season, and if he can stay fit for the majority of the season after coming back from injury. But I would wait until like February or March or April and assess Thiago's season then, because that's when Liverpool should make this decision, I think. And remember the Dutch under-21 coach Reiziger, I think that was his name, who really blasted and criticized Ryan Gravenberch for not going away to the Dutch national team, the Dutch under-21 national team, for the international break. Instead, he stayed at Liverpool, but he had to organize his whole new life in Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp commented on that. He's a player at a new club, so he has had training sessions here. We have games every 3 days now, so now he knows where he will live. He has a car now, he has organized everything around his life. I understand the Dutch were not happy, but he used this international break to fix a lot and to organize a lot. And Jurgen Klopp said about Gravenberch that the package is interesting, good in small spaces and big spaces. He can accelerate, he's a good passer, he's a good shooter. He now has a full week in training. At 18 he was at Ajax, moved to Bayern after 100 games, not usual. Definitely can make the next step. He has worked hard. I don't know where Gravenberch will end up positionally. He needs to fit in, but he can reach closer to his peak, and we will work on that. He's here for a long time. And Jurgen Klopp said that I was happy with the midfield over the years. Real men grew into the midfield role at Liverpool from being young players. Most successful players we had since I've been here, and it is a big task to replace these guys, but I'm happy with what we've got. I think Liverpool's midfield rebuild, as I said, it was almost a 9 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if we signed a beast defensive midfielder, somebody like Caicedo, but he's not worth 115 million pounds. So I think Inácio in January would absolutely complete this Liverpool rebuild for the time being. But I still think that we need a proper destroyer, very physical, and also quite young defensive midfielder, but that's for probably next summer after Thiago leaves. So let me know what you think about everything that we talked about in the comments below, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.